Right, now moving into round two. We're not going to go through round after round, but we're going to now talk about some potential matchups. Well, most likely round two. It's not too far in advance. Pilch, which ones get you excited?
Yeah, I struggled in round two to find many like real popcorn matches, but I've got two down. Millman Tiafo was one. I know Millman has
That's ballsy to just come out and say Millman.
I know Millman has
But
but either way, whoever wins it, Tiafo, good matchup. But
even Seppi, like those four will all make a good match. Yeah, I like that.
Personally, I would bet on it being Millman Tiafo though, and then Felix v Murray.
Who would you bet on out of Millman and Tiafo?
That's a tough one. I don't know. It depends what they show.
It depends which Tiafo turns up, really.
Yeah, or which Millman, but
yeah.
And then the obvious one, Felix v Murray, once again explains itself.
Yeah.
Muzza to be honest, Felix
is it even interesting? I think Murray's going to whack him. I think Felix is.
Well, the thing is, if Felix doesn't show up, he probably won't even win round one. But if he does, then it'll definitely be
has potential.
Yeah, Felix is he's at that age where he can't put three good matches together. So I'm seriously skeptical.
Do you reckon he's going to be
Murray is he's only like recently come back, so he's probably in a similar boat in terms of consistency. So I like that one though.
And we haven't seen Murray in best of five.
Yeah, true.
So we'll have to see how his hip holds up in that.
I reckon it'll might be better for him.
Yeah, I hope
against Felix as well, who is younger over the 5 sets. Murray can stay in it for a long time.
Felix is just so frustrating at the moment. Like, it's just that next gen when they're like 18 to 22. It's like I've got to just accept that they're going to be inconsistent, but it's so frustrating.
Well, they get stuck. They get up there in the top 20 super quickly, and then all of a sudden, there's no way that they can possibly get any higher, and they just get trapped and can only go down for the next 2 or 3 years. I feel like he's in the top 20. There's no way that he's gonna get any higher than 15 in the world in the next few years. Unfortunately, it's too stacked. But
Brownie,
my one. Well, of course, my one that I wanted to see the most, Murray and Auger-Aliassime. One that interested me was Alex Demonar against the winner of Gasquet and Karlovic.
I think he might have trouble there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's the seed, so he's the one expected to get through. But either way, whoever wins that match out of Gasquet and Karlovic, that'll be tough. I hope
it'll be the most Karlovic thing to make round 3. That'll be the most Karlovic thing of all time.
I think he'll have. Yeah, it'll be trouble either way. I think he has a better chance of beating Gasquet, to be honest, than beating Karlovic.
Yeah, Karlovic is like 60, but every year he just randomly wins a 250. Him and Roger have that record, and they just alternate. It's like oldest person to win a tournament tour, and like each year it just swaps hands. It's weird. I think Roger has the other one the last 2 years.
The other one I had was Sam Querrey against Karen Khachanov. I probably won't be watching it because neither of the two players really interest me at all in terms of actually watching them. They're just both big serve, big forehand kind of vibes. But the fact that they're both very similar players, and I think they're a very similar, even though Khachanov's ranked a lot higher, I think they're a very similar ability, especially when it comes to the big matches in the Grand Slams. I think it's a very even matchup and could definitely be like a 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, 6-7, 7-6 kind of vibe.
Yeah, Querrey's like Verdasco. Like he's always, usually he's outside the seeds, but he's always so dangerous. Like you'd much rather play Manarino.
Yeah.
And people like that over him. First up, I'll go, this is a bit of a random one, but in the top part of the women's draw, Jennifer Brady versus Cece Bellis. Cece Bellis is coming back from injury or whatever she's been out for. I think her ranking's like really low, but she's a top quality prospect and has been for a while. They've thought she was going to be a star since she was like 15. And then Jennifer Brady is seeded at 28, but she's coming off a win. She won Lexington last week and she won every match in straight sets. So I think Jennifer Brady's a bit of a spicy one in this tournament, unfortunately. I might talk about this in the next category, but she is in Pliskova's is that section or what? I don't know what's smaller than a section, but she's in Pliskova's section of the draw, so that'll be an interesting one in itself. But yeah, Cece Bellis and Brady. And then similarly in that top half, this is a bit of a myth one, but Vondrasova and Sasnovich. Sasnovich has completely fallen off.
And so is Vondrasova, to be honest.
Yeah, but she's somehow ranked 12, seeded 12 still.
12?
Mainly because it's she's seeded 12, but I guess that's because there's 10 people out. And then Sasnovich, she was a top 30 player only in the last 2 years, but I think now she's outside the top 100, but that could be all right, I guess. I don't know. And then finally, before we swing back to Pilch, as you mentioned, I mentioned this before, but Corey Goff and Sevastova, the winner of that, so probably Goff, and then the winner of Kostyuk and Kasatkina. So it could be an average age of 17 in that match if it's Kostyuk and Goff. But yeah, Pilch.
No, mate, I only had those two written down for the men's. I thought I'd let you two tackle the women's. Haven't looked at that draw yet. Let the two experts.
I've got a couple on the women's side for this one. I think that for me, the definite number one match of the second round of the women's draw is Sabalenka and Azarenka.
Yeah, I think that's the match of the tournament.
Yeah, the Belarusian face-off.
So good.
I don't know how Sabalenka's form's looking, but Sabalenka's the number 5 seed or something, even though she's not even in the top 10.
She lost. She lost last week in the second round. Oh, I can't remember who she lost to. She lost to someone in 3 sets. But yeah, who knows?
Azarenka is still in it in Cincinnati, so obviously has come out of lockdown in good form. Was probably good for her because her form hasn't been that great over the last couple of years. Hasn't really broken into the top 30 in ages. So that match is definitely, for me, the one to watch in the women's draw in the second round. It'll be very interesting. I think Azarenka's going in as a favourite, to be honest. But it'll be interesting to see. And another one that interested me was Karolina Pliskova and Caroline Garcia. If Garcia gets through her first round, Garcia
I missed that one.
Has been in bad form for a long time. Hunter was a top 5 player.
How are her and Contra in the top 10 for so
Pliskova has Kalinina from Ukraine, who I've never heard of before in the first round, and Garcia has Paolini from Italy in the first round, who I've never heard of before. So
seen the names, don't know who they
are. I'm feeling that both of them are going to get through, and I think it'll be an interesting match, and just to see how Garcia is doing out of lockdown, because she's one that definitely can go deep, except hasn't been in good form for ages, but is capable of it, has done it before, and obviously Pliskova is the number 1 seed, which is weird to say, but and she's not the favorite for the tournament or anything, but has been
when was
been
it?
very
It used to be.
Yeah, has been consistently in the top 5 for a while now, so that'll be an interesting one as well.
There's a couple I want to mention that are off the back of our first round mentions. So the winner of Mackenzie McDonald and Rude will play Rusevori most likely. He'll probably beat Bedene. Rusevori is in really good form. I'm not sure how young he is, but I think he might still qualify for next gen. And I think he was up there in the qualifications earlier this year. And then McDonald and Rude, we've talked about them. So that's an interesting one. This one is not interesting in terms of, it is interesting in terms of the result, but the winner of Anderson and Zverev could potentially play Brandon Nakashima, who is my wonder child, absolute legend of the game. I actually can't, I'll be honest, I can't remember much about him, but I was big into him in March. I used to watch his challenges online. I'd stream them. But yeah, he was tearing it up in the challenger scene, just making finals, beating people like Stevie Johnson and stuff. He's playing Paolo Lorenzi. So he's obviously outranked by Lorenzi, but I think he should win that in terms of, they're always unpredictable, the youngsters, but I think he would get slapped by Anderson or Zverev, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Then this is a bit of a myth one, but this is Aussie bias here. Jordan Thompson, if he beats Travaglia, he'll play the winner of Lajovic and Gerasimov, which that's probably one of the ones you'd go to on the outside courts to witness a 5-setter. And then some more in the women's. I've already said those two. Whitney Osawagi, I don't know how to say her name. Do you know, Brownie?
No.
I'm not sure. She's, I think, the same age as Corey Goff, and she's ranked just outside the top 100 now. She plays Koslova, who she could beat. She could lose that, though. And then the winner of that plays Kvitova. If Kvitova gets through Begu, so we could see Whitney against Kvitova, which once again, she probably will struggle, but it'll be interesting to see how she holds up. And then the last two, Kleisters and Alexandrova. The winner of that plays the winner of Kuzmova and Katie McNally. So we could have Katie McNally versus Kleisters, which would be a bit of a strange one. McNally, another wonder kid out of the United States, has about 30 of them at the moment. And then, I don't need to mention this, but like Zvonareva and Fernandez, the winner of that plays Kenin. So that'll probably be Fernandez versus Kenin, which would be pretty exciting, although Kenin is number 2 ranked.
That could be an upset. That's like a potential upset there, to be honest.
Fernandez
Kenin's not a number 2. Like, she's obviously won the Australian Open, but like I don't really see her as like a number 2 seed, like who's like guaranteed to win her first few matches by any means.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any seeds in the women's who are too guaranteed at the moment. It's so unpredictable, but yeah, Kenin 100%.
Queensland! It's a miracle! Oh yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.